Weather News Bulletin. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching today's Weather News Bulletin. In this program, we will bring you a complete overview of atmospheric conditions across a wide range, from the U.S. mainland to the tropical basins of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. After a fairly quiet start to the month, weather patterns are now becoming far more complex. New disturbances are emerging from the main development region off the coast of Africa, combined with tropical waves threading through the Bahamas, and enhanced further by the familiar gyre over Central America, often referred to as the Central American Gyre. Together, these are creating a layered scenario that requires close monitoring in the coming days. Meanwhile, the U.S. mainland is experiencing sharp contrasts. A massive heat dome continues to dominate the central states, even as a cooler air mass is preparing to sweep southward into next week. All of these elements point to an extremely unpredictable weather picture ahead. Let us begin in the tropical Atlantic. The main focus of attention right now is a new tropical wave forming in the primary development region off the African coast, a region long regarded as the cradle of many of history's strongest hurricanes. This system has not yet moved off the coast, but forecasts suggest that by the weekend it will emerge over open waters and enter a development phase. Meteorological models currently place its chances of tropical cyclone formation at about 30% over the next 7 days. Initially, it is expected to track westward at a speed of 20 to 25 km per hour. Beyond 7 to 10 days, under the influence of a high-pressure ridge near the Cabo Verde Islands, its trajectory will likely bend northwestward, curving into the open Atlantic and dissipating, meaning there is little risk of direct impact on land. At least 2 additional waves also deserve mention. One of them is moving near the Bahamas. Meteorologists sometimes call this the sneaky wave, because it carries a significant amount of moisture without appearing very strong. However, due to dry air layers and strong vertical wind shear, its chances of strengthening into a storm are minimal. Still, residents of the Bahamas and Florida should brace for enhanced showers that could lead to localized flooding in the coming days. The second wave is tied to the broad circulation commonly seen across Central America, the Central American Gyre. This system often produces heavy rainfall and can occasionally spin up into a tropical depression. At present, only the GFS model suggests the possibility of a low forming in the Gulf of Mexico and drifting northwestward. The 2 other major models, ECMWF and CMC, show no clear signal at all. Therefore, the probability of storm formation here is very low, only about 10%. Nonetheless, because of the region's complex dynamics, continuous monitoring remains essential. Another factor that cannot be overlooked is the environmental backdrop. Sea surface temperatures across the western Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico are extremely warm, many areas exceeding 29 to 30 degrees Celsius. This provides abundant fuel for any tropical system that lingers there. If given enough time, cyclones can rapidly intensify. However, the main suppressing factor is the presence of dry air and wind shear associated with a lingering upper-level trough. Whether or not a storm develops will largely depend on when this trough shifts away, opening the door for moisture to consolidate. Comparing forecast scenarios shows sharp divergence. ECMWF and CMC both indicate that most tropical waves this week will curve northward and dissipate at sea, posing no threat to land. By contrast, the GFS highlights the potential for a small low to emerge in the Gulf of Mexico and perhaps strengthen over time. Still, this is only one outcome among dozens of model runs, so confidence is very low. More noteworthy is the second wave trailing just behind the system with a 30% chance. Several models project that it may travel farther west before curving north, increasing its potential to approach the Caribbean. This is the system meteorologists warn should be watched most closely. Turning to the eastern Pacific, activity is also increasing. A tropical disturbance, designated Invest 95E, is active off the coast of Mexico. Forecasts call for it to strengthen into a tropical storm within the next 24 to 48 hours. Moreover, the region could witness 2 or 3 additional storms in the short term, with the next names on the list being Mario, Narda, and Octave. While these storms are not expected to be extremely powerful, heavy rainfall along the Mexican coastline and the Baja California peninsula may still cause considerable impacts. Residents there should be on high alert for flooding, flash floods, and landslides. Rainfall totals over the coming days are expected to be substantial in many areas. Florida and the Bahamas could receive 50 to 75 millimeters, with locally higher amounts, especially around Freeport. Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti, and Puerto Rico may see 75 to 100 millimeters. Enough to trigger flash flooding and urban inundation. Smaller islands such as Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique, and St. Vincent could exceed 100 millimeters, further intensifying local risks. Across Central America, including Nicaragua, Honduras, Costa Rica, and Panama, totals may surpass 100 millimeters in just a few days, posing serious landslide threats. Venezuela and Colombia, meanwhile, have a 40 to 60% chance of thunderstorms, lower than other regions but still requiring vigilance. Back in the United States, the weather presents an entirely different picture. Atmospheric circulation has settled into what meteorologists call an omega block. This means the central states remain locked under a persistent heat dome, while troughs repeatedly sweep through both the east and west coasts. The result is record-breaking heat in the nation's heartland, paired with cooler air masses and storm activity on either side. Today and tomorrow, strong thunderstorms are likely across much of the high plains and northern states. Wind gusts could reach 40 to 60 miles per hour, and in Montana, even up to 70 miles per hour. Large hail is also possible in some areas. In Florida, meanwhile, the cycle of daily thunderstorms continues unabated, fueled by a stationary offshore trough that keeps drawing in tropical moisture. Temperature-wise, the southeastern U.S. is pressing near record levels. In upstate South Carolina, for example, forecasts suggest highs may hit 74 degrees Fahrenheit, matching a record dating back to 1899. By Thursday, some locations could even approach 80 degrees Fahrenheit, threatening to break century-old records. However, the picture will change rapidly later this weekend, as a cold front dives southward, bringing scattered rain and a notable cool-down, especially across the Tennessee and Kentucky valleys. Residents there will feel the stark shift from record heat to autumn-like coolness in just a matter of days. In conclusion, the weather ahead will be shaped by a complex interplay of multiple forces: a vast central heat dome, a cold air mass sweeping in, and a string of tropical disturbances across both the Atlantic and Pacific. Some systems are expected to curve harmlessly out to sea, but others may pose genuine threats, especially given the abnormally warm ocean waters that could support rapid intensification. We will continue to track these developments closely and bring you the latest updates in future bulletins. Thank you for joining us for today's program. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss important weather updates. We wish you safety and peace in the face of nature's ever-changing patterns.